Hello, this is BR Co., the manager of Big Red's Retail Roundup. The boss agreed to give me the day off today for some problems I'm having with my eye, but the condition is that I make a video about our newest item, and that item is the ESEE Junglas. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with this knife is the sheath system. This is an ambidextrous kydex sheath with friction retention, a pommel cover, as you can see here, adjustable retainer, alright, tension adjustment, lashing and cord storage holes, a removable Cordura backing that is MOLLE compatible, a belt loop, and a 2-inch extending ring, which is up at the top there. Okay? So, let's take a look at this sheath to begin with. It's got a little pull clasp there. Allows you to take the pommel cover off. Okay? It can then just slide underneath. It's got a snap release. Okay? And it's also got the retention that it talked about. Okay, on the back we have a strap that can clip in. That's part of the carry system, and it's riveted. It's hard plastic sheath. Okay, now the reason I went into the specifics about this particular kydex sheath is that it's a little bit different than some of the others. One of the things, for instance, is it's got a drip section. It's hard to see here, but it's got an opening in the bottom so that if it does get wet, it can drip. The main thing here is that this knife was designed for jungle climates. It is a type of machete, and so therefore the understanding was that it's going to get wet, and so you need to make sure that you plan for that. Now, it also has a retention or a screw here that allows for the retention to be adjusted. So if it's too tight for you, you can adjust it with this screw down here. Now let's take a look at the knife itself. You can hear how it had pop out a little bit there. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the overall length of this knife. Well, you know what? Let's just get the elephant out of the room first. This is VG design, meaning that it's venom green. Now let me say this. I'm not a big fan of this whole green and zombie and all that kind of stuff, but I've got to say this has really grown on me. The orange is one thing, okay, the orange G10 handles, those are nice, but the venom green, I don't know how to explain it. It's just really neat. So I guess I'm a convert. Okay, first thing, the overall length of this beautiful knife is 16.5 inches. The blade length itself is 10.62, so this is not a small knife. You can tell by the fact that it's, you know, let's see if I can hold it up so you can see. It goes up almost all the way to my elbow from the tips of my fingers. I've got a pretty long arm. The blade thickness, also hard to see, especially with my face in the way, so let's get it closer to the camera, is 0.187 inches. Okay, that's a nice thickness. And let me tell you something. When you can look down at the knife and see that it's got a thickness that just, I mean, when it has a thickness like this, it reinforces your confidence. It bolsters your confidence, let's say that. It's 1095 tool steel, also known as carbon steel. Let's see. And it has a Rockwell hardness of 57. Of course, as I said before, the orange G10 scales. These are able to be taken off. It's got screws, star screws in here. You can take out the star screws, take apart the handles. Of course, it's full tang, as you can see. You can take apart the handles. You can replace them with other handles, different types if you want. But it's mostly, I suspect, for being able to clean. Obviously the knife is meant for use, so as most knives are, and so therefore it's expected to get a workout, and therefore it has to be oiled and it has to be cleaned and maintained in general. No matter what knife you have, even so-called stainless steel, if it keeps getting wet over and over again, it's not going to work very well for you. It's going to start to corrode. That's just the way it goes. The weight. Now let me say something about the weight here. Other than the fact that it's 22.5 ounces, which means what to any of you, without context, it feels heavy in your hand, hefty, I will say, but not overly so. Now granted, I have big arms for the most part, but it doesn't feel to me like it's overwhelming. You know, there's some things where, you know, you pick it up and it's like you're picking up a bowling ball or something. That's not the case here. It's got a good weight to it. It obviously is heavy toward the front, so it wants to lean. It's not supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to have the weight leaning forward so that it adds to the swing, and it definitely has that. I will say that the way the guard works, it's got a real good curve in it. It makes it easy to hold into your hand. It makes it easy to keep a hold of. The reason being is it's got this indented part right here. When they made it, they really did a good job of making that hook right there, so that when you're doing a downward swing, the centrifugal force is already trying to pull the knife forward out of your hand. This is reinforcing. Okay, so you're going boom, 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 and right there, you can see how it hooks around. It's got a contour to it that allows it to stay in your hand even with a downward swing. It actually bumps up against your finger. Okay, so I think that's a fantastic design. Another thing I want to point out is not only is it full tang, but it's got a hammer bottom. Okay, meaning that it's got a flat part right here, okay, which can be used as a hammer. Or, you know, I mean, if you really want to get down to it, if you're using it in a more of a combat-centric way, we'll say, you could use that to knock somebody out. It's also got a lanyard hole, okay, which is nice. You can put a lanyard on there and wrap it around your wrist. I really, to be honest, with the way the handle is made, I don't really think it would be necessary. I don't think that the way the handle is made, as I said, it bumps up against your finger. If it comes out of your hand, it's going to have to probably go through your finger to do it. Now, maybe if it was wet, but the G10 scales are made to provide grip and traction even when you have moisture situations. So I really don't think that you would need the lanyard, and to me it would get in the way. If it's not necessary, then it's just in the way. So that's the way that is. Now, the sheath weight, incidentally, is 10.5 ounces, so the sheath is pretty lightweight, but it's also, let me tell you, it's very, very well constructed. I'm very impressed with this type of sheath system. It's my first actual opportunity to spend a decent amount of time getting an idea of what the sheath system does. Now, don't let the name fool you. Even though it's called Junglas, and that's a Spanish pronunciation for a group of people, commandos I believe it is, in South America. This is an all-American knife. Country of origin, USA. Made, USA. USA, USA, yay, Olympics. Anyways, and each item is numbered, okay? So you know that you're getting an item that is original. And ESEE has a good name, so there's that. Now, let me say that it is also extremely, extremely sharp. Okay. Now, granted, the weight helps with that, but it is extremely sharp, and the blade itself has a, well, not the edge, but the whole knife has a texture. That VG green is not just a paint; it's also got some sort of a texture to it. So it feels kind of tacky, I guess is the way to say it. Speaking of the scales, as I mentioned before, you can take them apart. You can also add Cryptoglow scales in place of the VG10 or the G10. I don't think it would really make much of a difference. Bright orange versus something that glows in the dark. How often are you going to use your knife to go through the dark where you're actually going to lose track of where the knife is, but the handle's going to help you? Maybe. And this is now on sale at Big Red's Retail Roundup. And the price will be shown below. Thank you.